Hey everyone, Jack here with another video. So today we have some awesome Warhammer related news, and in a bit of a rant fashion. It's not too often that I get to do that, but this time around it's a rant, and as it goes with rants, the more the merrier. Which is why today I have a guest with me, my unholy brother from a holy land. We have Angel Agron here with us.
Ironically wearing ultramarine merch of all things.
Exactly.
Oh man, does it count as a rant if we're happy?
I I guess it still does. Don't
It's
you think
it's more
so?
of like a circle jerk at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we can qualify that as that. Sure, certainly.
So I didn't really sleep well, so I kind of woke up halfway through the night to see my phone bombarded with texts from friends all over the world,
Yeah.
collectively losing their shit while busting a nut. Uh, it's it's not like it's like how do you respond to Henry Cavill Warhammer material? Like are we living in a simulation?
I
What the
know.
hell?
The one who is the one individual that is unanimously considered as one of us. It's so weird.
So by all accounts, um Henry has been so far
Yeah.
Superman, Harold,
Geralt of Rivia,
and now any character from
any character
Warhammer, which
essentially.
doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Is he officially king of the nerds?
I think he is. I mean, people have been depicting him for years as being the God Emperor. I think just he should be the Lord and Savior of all nerds.
Absolutely. He's at this point, he has to be geek Jesus, because it's like he's, instead of walking on water, he's walking on Forge World Custodes models.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, he did
Oh
have like a
my.
visit on Warhammer World, but we'll get into that. So, the news, of course, today is that Henry Cavill, according to this one article there that popped everywhere from the Hollywood Reporter, is that his next work will involve something within the Warhammer 40K universe, and that from Amazon Studios. So, that is phenomenal news, obviously. Everybody's happy about that. But the question is, though, what could it possibly be and how? But before we start into speculation, I kind of wanted to like run a little bit of a recap of the thing that happened to our good old boy Henry as of late. So, about a few months ago, we were talking about mid-October, the Black Adam movie came out. And for those of you who saw that, by the end of it, of course, Black Adam, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, had this cameo with Henry Cavill showing up. And everybody was happy that he was going to reprise his role as Superman. Turns out that that's not the case. That's cancelled because James Gunn, who took over DC with another dude whose name I keep forgetting, decided to re-roll the entire thing, go in another direction. Many accused James Gunn for not liking Henry Cavill, which is not the case. They actually had a meeting 2 days ago, which by me doing a little bit of stalking here, checking his IG, saw that, yeah, he was positive with that. There's no bad feeling between him and James, but yeah, he's out of the role. He's no longer Superman. Certainly crushing news. Beside that, of course, was the thing that happened last month, which is him leaving the role of Geralt as well. It's fucking brutal, man.
I gotta ask, before we completely defecate all over both the Witcher TV series, which I find horrendous and yet marvelous at the same way. It's like that thing from Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I call it the Prarius. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you fumble? I'm not talking about the financial success of the movie, because there were so many factors that go into it, because there were a lot of mistakes that
Mhm.
are marketing wise, and let's be honest, a solo Black Adam movie was not the best way to start for a character that, unless you're a comic book connoisseur, you're really hyped for.
I know.
How do you fumble an IP where you have The Rock, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and Jason Momoa all happy to work with each other?
And
Like,
even
how do you do
freaking Ben
that?
Affleck. Ben Affleck agreed to play the best Batman, but with The Witcher, regarding that show, he did sign up after the very first season, saying that he was willing to continue up to 7 seasons. He said, as long under one condition, that they respected and honored the original work of Sokowski. That's where the hammer falls. Obviously, they didn't do that.
That's a common trope on where comic book and computer game movies go to die, where you have an existing IP that's fantastic, that's compelling, that has a fandom, and all that the fans want to see is give me this, but in a movie. Don't change it, don't edit it, don't make it woke, don't make it whatever, don't change a thing.
Yeah.
This is the story, this is what we love. And I don't have a problem with like things being woke. It's not that, but like you don't have to take one thing to make it and make it another and then complain that it didn't succeed. It didn't fail because of the changes. It failed because you made any changes whatsoever.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's true. And we can all agree, like there are instances where like whether it is the producer or people just end up adding some stuff that were not in the original material that sometime work, but that is not the norm. One of my like prime example will always be the Watchmen movie and its ending. Like, where should we have a giant like psychic squid that drop out of nowhere and just kind of explodes? That doesn't make sense within a movie that is built around the fear of nuclear warfare. So what they did in the movie was amazing. It was a nice ending, and I love that because it followed like a nice red thread. But that's like an exception.
They maintained the graphic visual style was befitting of the graphic style of the Watchmen novel.
Yeah.
Everything was like, this is what I came to see.
Exactly.
And this is why Watchmen actually stands the test of time. It's still a great movie.
It is. Now then, Henry, for those of you who don't know, he visited Warhammer World not too long ago, where he was supposed to, for one, have voiced some characters in the Hammer and Bolter series. Yeah, he was supposed to do that, but he declined because he had something else installed regarding some GW work.
I missed that.
Which no, we didn't know that it was going to be this. On every occasion where Henry got to talk Warhammer, he will always say that, yeah, of course, I would like to partake in something. But
the man actually was able to get Graham Norton to talk about Warhammer. That's an achievement.
And when you paint them, what do you do with them then, Henry?
Then you put them together in little armies and you fight against someone else's army.
So to wake up today,
you said that,
yeah, sorry.
When you said that he declined to do voiceover for Hammer and Bolter, I almost gave out like an uncontrollable, confused Scooby-Doo noise. Like, by the way, for those watching, I apologize if I fumble any words in English or my accent is unbearable. English is my third language, so bear with me.
Yeah, you should be kind, okay? It's not that easy. But
comments will comment.
True. But yeah, of course, waking up today to learning that not only was Henry going to star in a show that was Warhammer related, but he was actually going to direct the damn thing. Now, the question is then, what are the possibilities here? Everyone is going to speculate. And we know Warhammer is large. Some will say that, oh, well, we are only thinking about him being the God Emperor. Or some, as I've seen so many paintings or Photoshop pictures of him being like Custodes and stuff like that. I'm imagining something a lot simpler, something that he has mentioned before, which has been the Eisenhorn series.
It's one of three. It's one of three.
Yeah.
Realistically, as much as I would like to think, oh God, we're getting Horus Heresy live action, which we're not.
No.
We're just not. It's not going to happen because it's going to cost $3 billion to make.
I know.
Least. I know. We're either getting Eisenhorn, which would be cool.
Yeah.
We're either getting Gaunt's Ghost, which would be somewhat cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And we might be getting Caiaphas Cain, which is okay. Okay.
Yeah. That's
those are the realistic ones.
Yeah, I actually didn't include that, but that's actually pretty good.
Out of the three, I think the most realistic would be Gaunt's Ghost.
Yeah.
Because you can give the vibe of a military unit. You have your fair share of tear-jerking tragedy. You can get by with the grim darkness of the universe, for lack of a better term, without bordering on a horror movie. Because if you go Eisenhorn,
Eisenhorn would be creepy. Yeah,
Eisenhorn would be creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
It's the Ordo Malice. Like, what do you do? There's no way around it. It's gonna be, at the very least, it's gonna have a lot of body horror, and that's not gonna be good for new fans. You can't
true
that. And Caiaphas Cain is gonna be a bit too sarcastic and funny, and not serious. It's just not a good show.
Actually, now that we're speaking, he just dropped on his IG a little short, some symbols here, the Imperial Sigil, where he states here, I should read this out loud.
For 30 years, I have dreamt of seeing a Warhammer universe in live action. Now, after 22 years of experience in this industry, I finally feel that I have the skill set and experience to guide a Warhammer cinematic universe into life. Partnering with Natalie Viscuso at Vertigo has been a blessing beyond words. Without her, we might not have found the perfect home at Amazon. And having a home like Amazon will give us the freedom to be true to the massive scope of Warhammer. To all of you Warhammer fans out there, I promise to respect this IP that we love. I promise to bring you something familiar, and I endeavor to bring you something fantastic that is, as of yet, unseen. Our first steps are to find our filmmaker, creator, writer. Watch this space, my friends, for the Emperor.
Be still my beating heart.
Yeah. Still, I mean, I love this guy. I can't say otherwise. Just by the principle that he was willing to leave a show that he fought so much to have, that being The Witcher, just because they just didn't respect it. That's enough for me to be optimistic about this.
Also, the one thing that makes me very secure about this, if he's a producer, if anything here is disloyal to the IP, it doesn't get made.
No.
He's not going to move forward on it. So let's just get realistic for a second. We're not going to get something that's 100% loyal to the lore. It's just not feasible, not from a cinematic scale possibility, not from a visual possibility, because let's be honest, most of the shit we read is kind of horrific. Like, even the parts that are not that bad, like Nurgle aside, everything's kind of awful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we tend to forget that exclamation point of the grimdark part.
All right, so have you played Darktide yet?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Aren't the servitors, the Medicaid servitors, absolutely depressing? No, but think of someone who doesn't already have his heart and soul invested into Warhammer, and he sees a fucking servitor. What the hell?
I know.
How do you sell that? So we're not going to get 100% grimdark. We're just not. We're going to get I can't believe it's not butter grimdark, and that's okay because it's better than nothing. Let's not be gatekeeping neckbeards for once.
Yeah. True.
If it's remotely close to the lore, I'm happy.
I will be too.
And now we have to take on a missionary role. We have to spread the word to anyone and everyone. I'm going to be absolutely unbearable to all my friends and loved ones. Oh no!
Everyone everyone is.
I've become a son of Lorgar.
Oh no! Stop. The Book of Lorgar, the Book of Cavill.
The Book of Cavill. Oh man, I hate Lorgar so much. If I ever become a word bearer fans, please shoot me.
Oh no, that will never happen.
Just take me out of my misery.
I'll be the one to pull the bolter.
So I'm gonna ask a question, and based on what you answer, because I haven't been following this too closely,
Yeah.
I might rant absolutely horrendously, and I might rant moderately.
Okay.
What's going on with Ezra Miller's movie?
Stop. We're not getting into them.
Not in detail, but as a concept in comparison to everything else.
I
Is that
don't
movie
know.
still going on?
Supposedly, yes.
Didn't Ezra Miller literally choke a bitch?
He he did. He
He went
kidnapped
full
some.
Wayne Brady.
He kidnapped some. Supposedly, also it's said to have groomed somebody and started like a cult.
Oh no.
And I'm using the right pronouns here. They are weird. So
Fuck
that's
me,
why
dude.
that's why I did not mention Ezra Miller, because that whole situation was too much for me to bear.
That is a rabbit hole that I'm terrified of going down. And let's not do that. I literally just, because I know he was violent. I know it was that bad.
Yeah.
Like the last thing I heard about Ezra Miller was the fight at the restaurant, which I think was in Hawaii.
Yes.
And like at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I don't care.
Yeah,
You've lost
exactly.
me. But oh, it got worse. Oh my. So here's my concern.
Yeah.
How many corporate executive headed minds will be involved here? Because the more there is less IP oriented people and corporate oriented people, the worse that this is going to be. This is problematic material. I mean, they were able to fuck up Tolkien.
I know,
Like,
with the Ring of Power. Yeah.
they were able to mess up. It wasn't like poorly executed, it was just poorly written. It was,
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
like the execution was outstanding, but like the script was fucking it was the drizzling shit.
Yeah, it's absolutely trash. And that's one of the things that I sometimes see with the criticism of this. Like, people are just straight up looking at this. Like, you obviously have the angle of those who are only going to cry over the fact that, oh, it's woke, and they are just going to cast it aside. But visually speaking, it is stunning. But the writing is straight doo-doo.
If we get that level of visual results for the Warhammer thing, sign me up twice. I'll donate a kidney. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, my kidneys are shot either way. Like, I don't give a shit. It's like, whatever. The issue, from what I understood, I'm not a big Tolkien fan, but from what I understood from a friend who is a massive Tolkien fan, which I don't know how you can be, I'm sorry. Like, some of the stuff is epic, but some of the stuff is kind of like, here's 20 paragraphs about that hill. It's very hard for me. There is such a thing as too much exposition, which I know is a stretch from a Warhammer fan, but come on. There was issues with the Tolkien estate to a degree, to what they were willing to release for them to work with, what they were willing to agree for them to work with. So they couldn't just straight up do a live action version of the Silmarillion, which was what they were supposed to do. So that was a big issue. If Game Workshop is 100% on board, shit, all bets are off. Like, let's go nuts.
Yeah, I guess my worry will be also the involvement of Games Workshop.
I'm holding out to hope that they're just kind of like giving it in small drips and drabs, because once you moved forward with it, Hammer and Bolter was absolutely fine.
It was fine.
Depending on which episode you're talking about, some of those bits and pieces are absolutely epic.
Yeah.
Angels of Death was phenomenal. Okay, so I'll retract what I said. It was on average very good. At moments, it was phenomenal.
True.
But that's kind of how the Warhammer books work. Let's be honest.
I mean, to be fair, yeah. Let's be honest.
When we talk about books like Saturnine, we mention moments. Like,
true.
It's just the way how narrative works. If they really commit to it and they put their heart to it, they can do things that are spectacular. They have tremendous writers at their disposal. Get fucking Guy Healy on it. Get Aaron Dembski Bowden involved.
Yeah.
Shout out to Aaron Dembski Bowden, the probably the nicest dude to ever live on Twitter. We don't deserve you. So who would you have as the antagonist of a Warhammer live action movie / series?
Yeah, well, if we keep it to the realistic part, as in Gaunt's Ghost, as being like the one that we believe is going to be like a good introduction into it, not too body horror-y. We're still going to have a little bit of elements of that. The Blood Pact, for example, I think are like good enough foes to deal with, like just like introducing the Imperium at large and what they have to deal with, and the like countless of amount of life and territory they sometimes have to give up, because when chaos takes over, it takes over and doesn't give up. I think that them as foes, and also not having to employ too much CG, just corrupted Marines or Astra Militarum, stuff like that. That could work. Just to keep it like practical.
Well, there's one more character that we could have talked about and we didn't. Maybe because it's the pain of thinking about him at this current atmosphere.
Of whom?
Oh, Bailey.
uh
That's plausible.
You think so?
I'll tell you why. It's not a space-bound setting. It's just on Armageddon.
Yeah.
You can bring in the orcs. You can bring in specific elements of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You even possibly get to bring in the Grey Knights and Agron if you want to really touch on a lot of things.
Yeah, for like some future world building.
Yeah, because his point, as he said, I'm building a Warhammer cinematic universe.
Dude, you just want to see your Primarch on screen. That's
It's
all
my
it
boy.
is.
It's my boy.
That's all it is.
All he does is take L's. Give me something.
That's all it is.
God, like he's the Primarch, the fucking demon Primarch, champion of the God of War, and he can't seem to fight his way out of a wet paper bag. What's going on, man? Not
Yeah.
fair.
GW is doing him dirty. So dirty. Yeah.
You know they're gonna have him lose to Gazgul. You know, if he's actually the one who killed Yarrick, you know he's gonna end up fucking putting Gazgul Ulkluthraka over. Did I pronounce it? I'm horrible with orc names.
Yeah, I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm
Where's-
just
where's-
as bad.
Where's Chapter Master Valric when you need him?
True.
Shout out to him because his videos are really cool.
Yeah. He's like the Oibrov. He's perfect for that.
There are a couple of YouTubers that I really genuinely enjoy their content. Like Luton is a obvious
Up
shout
there.
out because like
Yeah.
he's the goddamn messiah when it comes to Warhammer lore. Bricky is funny as hell.
Yeah.
Valric and Kurioth are really good when it comes to like going deep into the nitty gritty, but you don't have 2 hours to watch a Luton video.
No, that's the thing.
They're kind of like a happy middle ground. Like shout out to all these guys. They're really cool. I really like their content.
Do you know Voldemort?
I haven't seen enough of it. Like
he's really good. He has this way of the way that he conveys the stories are like very similar to like the audio dramas. And I know a couple of channels who do that, but like his is so very unique because of his voice.
Everything I've seen from him so far, I've enjoyed, but I try not to like give an opinion of a channel that I haven't seen at least X amount of content from.
The orcs, again, if they have the budget, they can get to do that.
And there's one thing about the orcs that a lot of other antagonists don't have. They're endearing. They can be funny as hell.
Yeah.
But at the flip of a switch, they can be absolutely terrifying.
True.
That's the upside to the orc. Because you could have like, just look at the Christmas special fucking rock song they did for the orcs. It was incredible.
Good. Yeah, it was
awesome. But on the same level, look at like Hell's Reach, which by the way is one of the best things that were ever done on YouTube by a wide margin. That charge of the orcs when they storm the walls.
Yeah.
That's absolutely terrifying. They have a very wide range. as an antagonist. Chaos are just kind of yucky. And I'm saying it as a Chaos fan.
Yeah.
But like if we're doing live action, you definitely can't do the fucking Drukhari.
No.
No.
We are
no,
not
no.
touching on any of that.
Like the whole spectrum of, aside from Zinch and Korn, you can't really touch Chaos. Necrons are kind of complex. I don't think that you have enough time to convey the level of threat that the Necron really are, and with how complex and really monarch-based society they have, and like there's so much lore there just for them. They're
Yeah, I
the
know.
oldest. They're the oldest faction. So we talked about who's the good antagonist.
Yeah.
Obviously, Henry's going to be a leading character.
Yeah.
I think that if they do it wisely, they can touch on Space Marines, and they can touch on a bunch of stuff and make it open for future progression as far as the lore is concerned. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much.
Yeah.
Because, as we've touched in various parts of this conversation going on for way too long, and I apologize to everyone because put two nerds in a conversation and they will rant.
Yeah.
The moment corporate gets involved, there's always room for fuck-ups.
True.
There are time frames, there are budgets, there are whatever. There's always a touch of censorship. Someone always has an agenda. Sometimes I agree with it, sometimes that's another point, but it always gets involved. And very rarely does an IP translate properly.
Yeah, I mean, and especially because now we're talking about Amazon, a company that at the moment is catching a little flack for the adaptations. I mean, I could look back in the past. They did the adaptation of The Expanse, which is a nice sci-fi show that was translated very well received by many, but unfortunately got cancelled for reasons that I don't know why. It was such a good show. They did Mr. Robot, but that
Mr. Robot was fantastic.
Yeah, Mr. Robot was fantastic. And they wanted to do American Gods, but they flopped it at the third season. It became too weird. A Neil Gaiman story, actually very well adapted, and many did like it.
The first season was phenomenal, but the more they strayed away from the original book, the worse it got.
Exactly.
They didn't run out of budget. They had a good spot on TV. They ran out of content, which is one of the key for people who don't really touch on TV production, like that. There are main choke points where something can fail. They ran out of content, so they started making low quality content that was completely disconnected from the IP. It was so far removed from the original stuff. It was just dumb.
Yeah.
This can't happen with Warhammer.
No, you literally can't.
There is no feasible way to get through all of it.
No.
Out of the two of us, I am somehow the bigger Warhammer nerd.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm like 70% through the lore. Like there's a bunch of shit I just didn't have enough time through my lifetime to get familiar with. Like Jesus Christ.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks, this was our very clear and concise rant on the Henry Cavill news, and also a hell of a lot of
Concise my ass. Concise. How dare you?
And some other Warhammer stuff that we hold very, very dear. So I hope to get your opinions on what possibly we can get as a introductory story in this universe that Cavill and his friends at Amazon are trying to make. And yeah, let's keep our hopes up and trying to be optimistic about it, because I know that sometimes when these kind of things get announced, I myself have like a penchant through observations over the years of being kind of negative, but yeah.
Okay, so positive points to go with before we clear this.
Yeah.
We have someone who actually cares in charge.
We do.
We have an entity that has a lot of resources at hand to do something that at the very least is going to be visually compelling. We don't know the story yet, but we've seen them provide a lot of very good and visually compelling stuff.
Yeah.
And to be fair, we're finally getting something as a fandom, you greedy fox. Let's enjoy it for now. Let's just give it the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Like, we sat there for years watching Marvel and DC and just looked like like this. Look, caressing our Forge Road models like, you'll get your day.
So guys, this has been it for us. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Wish you all to have a wonderful day, and see you guys in a few days, where we'll be doing a Primark tier list. So look forward to that.
We're doing it next week before Christmas?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yay, we're having a Hanukkah special.
All right, see you guys.